Hi, welcome back to Engineer Your Space. I'm Isabel. Today I'm really excited to be putting the finishing touches on my home office. I'm going to show you how easy it is to turn a lampshade into a pendant lamp and how I decorated my walls with some simple DIY projects. So let's get started. I set up my home office in a corner of my living room, which doesn't get a whole lot of light during the daytime. And I have a really small desk also. So the combination of those two things made me want to choose a pendant lamp for lighting. Now, I didn't have a lot of money to spend, so I ended up making my own using a lampshade from an old lamp that I had and a pendant lamp kit. And the best part, it only took a few minutes to make. First, I removed the cap from the lamp kit. Then I cut two 12-inch lengths of metal wire that I got at the dollar store and bent them in half around the light socket of the lamp kit. I wrapped them around the socket under the lip facing each other so that it's easy to twist them together. Then I passed the cord of the lamp kit through the lampshade ring and twisted the wire around the spokes. Next, I made a diffuser using a flexible chopping mat. I traced the inside and outside of the shade, cut through the middle of the two outlines so that the diffuser can rest on the bottom ring of the shade. To make sure that my pendant lamp was installed centered above my desk, I used this tool called a plumb bob. It doesn't get much more low-tech than this, and it's also actually really simple to use. You mark where you want the center of your pendant lamp to be using some tape, and then you hold the string of the plumb bob at the ceiling, and you move it around until the tip of the plumb bob is right over the X. And that's the spot on the ceiling where you want to hang your lamp. The hanging hardware comes with the lamp kit, and to install the hook, I drilled a small hole using a plastic cup to catch the dust. Simple, but it saves on cleanup. Next, I put in an anchor and screwed the hook in place. I used metal clips to secure the wire along the corner of the wall so it's out of the way, but you could also use cable covers that you can paint the same color of your wall. The lamp kit that I used doesn't come with a switch, so I ended up buying a dimmer switch that works with LED light bulbs. You plug the lamp into the switch and then the switch into the outlet. You can also control your pendant lamp with a wall-mounted switch and plug-in receiver, like the one that I use in my dining room for the wall sconces. I'll have a link to the light switches in the video description below in case you want to take a look. Now, moving on to the walls. The first thing that I did was to bring in some natural light by adding a mirror to the back wall, which reflects the light from the window that's right across from it. The next thing I did was also to add a cork board, and I made it using cork trivets that I found at IKEA. It was inspired by my Christmas front door decoration, which I modified a bit by adding a couple of coats of semi-transparent stain in a color called Pinto White. It tones down the cork color a bit, but still lets the texture show through. I'll have a link to the video showing how I made it at the end of this episode. Now, last but not least was the wall above my computer, and there I wanted to hang my diplomas. But I had them in really dark wood frames that just didn't go with the decor of my new office. So I thought it would be fun to experiment using cork boards as frames, and I came up with a couple different ways to do it. In both options, I used plastic sheet protectors to protect the diplomas, trimming the edges for a cleaner look. For option 1, I attached the diplomas to the cork boards with washi tape, layering orange and yellow tape for a richer color, and then I stapled the frames together before hanging them. For a completely different and softer look, I painted the cork using 2 coats of the same stain that I used on the cork board that I showed you earlier. Then I sanded that down to remove the paint strokes, and simply attached the diplomas with thumbtacks. I really love the way my office came together. It's really the perfect setup for me to work from home. But I was still missing a couple of things. I was missing storage, and I didn't like the fact that my home office was completely open to my living room. So I used bookcases to build a temporary dividing wall to create a more defined office space. I'll show you how I built it in my next episode, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss it. Now, if you want to see how I made the corkboard in my office, click on this video here. And if you want to see part 1 of my office makeover, click on this video here. And if you want more information on the projects that you saw in this episode or other DIY tips and inspiration, you can go to my website, engineeryourspace.com. See you next time.